And to me, all these stories of David and all these are for us to learn something from, that their freedom with God. I mean, look at Abraham talking to God, You are the judge of all the earth. You are supposed to do the right thing. Would you destroy these people? I mean, it doesn't make sense. How can you be, there's such a fine gentleman up in the sky who talks about justice and fairness. How can you wipe out this people group? I mean, we don't ask that question. So I think prayer, we need to change our concept of prayer. And so I will say, in the day-to-day context of bringing God into our reality, is I think these small events like this, when we are upset, when we are a crisis, like when I have a surgery, which I am facing, I don't do this prayer. Before surgery, we had to pray as if you don't pray, patient is going to die or something. This magic thing that you do. But in my heart, I know that before, every cases I begin to do, in my heart, I'm consciously, not for the safety of the patient or something, just asking for wisdom. I don't say, oh, patient, save this person from dying or something. Personally, I don't do that. I said, Lord, just give wisdom to do what is needed. Because that's what James says, if you need wisdom, ask and he will give. And I found that a new idea will come, why don't you do that way? That's how a lot of the surgeries that I kind of developed is just asking for wisdom in a given situation, rather than, worried about, I'm not, it's the worrying about patient dying is actually you are waiting for your reputation not to go down. It's nothing to do with the patient. It is.
or you're going to go to jail.
It's our own fear.
We don't want to be in a mess, so we are saying it, To have someone to dialogue with, to be able to talk about what I believe, what I'm struggling with, my questions. Or even to pray with someone. I think that event, if it is not there, I will go into depression. I need to have someone, or find someone or write a letter to someone which has got more than just hello, how are you kind of thing. I need someone. I personally, I need that. I'm struggling with this. These are my wild thoughts that are coming back to me again and again, or my greed level is rising up, or my fantasy is making me go crazy. To be able to, and I think when you are at a top level leadership or being an elder or something, there's nobody else to talk to. And
to be honest with.
And it's basically, I think, it's Billy Joe's same old song, honesty. Such a lonely word. Everyone is so untrue. I have this amazing friend who is a psychiatrist from Switzerland. He's 86 and he just got married last year. He came with his wife died a year ago, and he found this lady in his church who also lost her husband. She's 75 and he's 85, and they came and stayed with us for a month. Amazing chap. We used to visit them. We visited them many times when his wife was alive. Both are psychiatrists, and they had totally different way of dealing with people and problems. And she was a very, upbeat kind of a person who don't take any nonsense. Very serious. And he's a fun life. and he likes crazy things, jumping around, traveling, and she hated traveling. And so they had this very complex personalities, both trying to help people, and they just couldn't. And when I last visited him before she died, she said, Laji, we have been childhood friends. They grew up, they were they're neighbors' kids who grew up together. And we have been married now 50 years or 60 years we have been married. I want her dead. And we went for a walk, and this is what he said, Laji, I want her to die so that I can be free. And he just cried. That kind of honesty. Without judging, without condescending, without saying, how can you say that? But it's an expression of love, because, if you lived with someone for 60 years, there has to be love underneath. But where do you take the frustrations of basically what he's saying, I want to die. See, I want to die to this thing in me that cannot change. So the only way I can cope with life is to see her die. And I think many of us are so helpless in handling, that part of us which we hate. We just don't know what to do with it. And the only option is, either we die. And I think, that is what I think Jesus is saying, unless you die to yourself, you cannot. And sometimes lonely death, God wants us to die in that community. It's a visible death. And it's basically just saying no to my own drive, my own desires, my own wanting, my way in everything. Basically it's that. It's nothing. This whole, what we call personalities are different. Basically, to me, it is, I want my way and I want you to submissive to my way. And to die to that and saying, no, I will not. Push my agenda, push my need before the other person's need. And that only a servant can do. And that was my whole focus about, being a servant, is servant only want to please the other person, the master. And Jesus again brings that essential part in his teaching. He says, if anybody wants to be great, he should become the least of all. And this has to be tested in marriage. Because that is the only relationship worth pursuing. And we were together with this couple in 8th month of March in Switzerland. We stayed with them, and 2 weeks, we could talk about our struggles together and our fears of what will happen. And it was a fabulous 2 weeks. And I said, the most difficult thing for me is to be a servant to Sheila. I can be a servant to the patient, I can be a servant to everybody else, but within the walls of my home, I find it so difficult to be a servant. It means taking orders, And I had to say, I find it so difficult, so difficult. Whatever you say is of my upbringing, my parents, my family, it's all irrelevant. There's something in me that wants to be served. I want to be served. And, But so I said, okay, I'm going to do it. It lasted for 1 week. 1 week I said, I will do whatever Sheila tells me, I will do it. After 1 week I said, forget it, yeah, hell with it. I want my way.